Hi folks, we're going to be doing 6.7, solving radical equations and inequalities. We have two parts to this video and they're actually both going to be in the same video. So part one will be radical equations and part two will be radical inequalities. Due to the fact that there are 3 steps in both of these, I've actually taken the initiative to first just write them all out here ahead of time so you don't have to watch me write all the steps, and that leaves me a little bit more time to do the examples as well. So we'll talk through the 3 steps here in solving radical equations. Our first step is going to be isolate the exponent or radical. Our second step is going to be raising each side of the equation to the reciprocal of the exponent or the index of the radical. Now, reciprocal means to flip that fraction, and the index of the radical is that number outside the actual radical sign. So if it's a square root, then that index is 2. If it's a cubed root, the index is 3, and so on. Our last part is, especially in radical equations or any equation that you are squaring something or taking a square root of something, you need to check for extraneous solutions. Extraneous solutions are those solutions that you get as an answer but don't actually satisfy the equation. So we're going to do 3 examples here. We will start example 1. We are going to have 2, and we have x to the 1/3. Fractions are always hard to write with a permanent marker. And this is going to equal 4. Oops. Oh, I actually forgot to tape my sheet down here, so I'm hoping that this is going to be okay. That's because I have another sheet up there that I have to pull down pretty quickly here. All right. So we have 2x to the 1/3 equals 4. We are going to divide by 2 on both sides. And it's going to cancel out there. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we have x to the 1/3 equals 2. Now, we are looking at we've isolated the exponent. So we need to raise each side of the equation to either the reciprocal of the exponent or the index of the radical. Well, we have an exponent. So the reciprocal of this exponent is 3/1, or just 3. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So that means x to the 1/3 to the 3rd is just x, and 2 to the 3rd is 8. All right, so this is our answer right here. Let's check to make sure it works. So we're going to check. We have 2 to the 8 to the 1/3 power should equal 4. And if it does, that is our answer. Well, 8 to the 1/3 power is 2. So 2 times 2 should equal 4. And it does. And so this checks out and is our answer to our problem. Let's go to example 2. All right, example 2. We are going to have the square root of 2x plus 8. That's all underneath the square root. Outside of the square root, we have a -4 equals -6. All right, so we need to first isolate the exponent or radical. So that means we need to add 4 to both sides here. The left-hand side, we are left with the radical of 2x plus 8. And this is going to be equal to -2. All right, next we are going to raise each side of the equation to either the reciprocal of the exponent or the index of the radical. Since we have a radical, we have an index here of 2. That means we are going to square both sides. Well, quantity of the radical 2x plus 8 squared is just what is underneath that radical, 2x plus 8. And this is going to equal +4. Remember, a negative value squared is really -2 times -2, and that produces a +4. Next, we solve. So we subtract 8 from both sides. 2x is going to equal -4, and we get an answer of x equals -2. Now, we need to check this answer. So let's check it over here. All right, we have root 2 times -2 plus 8, and that is all underneath the radical, -4 should equal -6. All right, well, 2 times -2 is a -4. -4 plus 8 is 4. We have then root 4 minus 4 should equal -6. And root 4 is 2. So 2 minus 4 equals -6. But 2 minus 4 is a -2. And -2 does not equal -6. So that means that this is incorrect. And there is no solution. Hold this paper down here. To this problem. All right. Our third example here. Having some problems writing because it's low on the sheet and I did not tape this sheet down. All right, our third example. We are going to go with, we have, let's see if I need to zoom in here as I'm holding the paper. But I'll zoom back out here. We have, oh, okay, I am having some struggles. 3 times the cubed root of x minus 5. Like I said, I'm having some struggles here. And that's going to equal 9. All right. So first thing we need to do is isolate the radical. So we need to divide both sides by 3. And we get to the cubed root of x minus 5. And that's going to equal 3. All right. Well, next, we need to raise each side of the equation to the reciprocal of the exponent or the index of the radical. This index is 3, so that means we need to raise both sides of the equation to the third power. On the left-hand side, we have x minus 5. The right-hand side, 3 cubed is 27. There we go. And we need to add 5 to both sides, and we get an answer of x equals 32. All right. Trying to box my answer there. There we go. Okay, we still need to check that. So I'm going to do our check over here so I can actually hold down the paper. So our check is 3 times the cubed root of 32 minus 5 equals 9. All right. Well, we're looking at that. And we should have 3 times, well, the cubed root of 32 minus 5 is 27. Cubed root of 27 is 3. So 3 times 3 should equal 9, and 9 equals 9, and that checks out. All right, so that does it for solving radical equations. We have one more part, though, to this lesson, which is solving radical inequalities, and that is our next part here. So again, just the same as last time, if you want to screenshot this or pause it and write them down, we have solving radical inequalities part 2. So an inequality is anything with an inequality sign, a less than, equals to, less than, or greater than or equals to sign. So our 3 steps here, if the index is even, so 2, 4, 6, identify values of variables for which radicand is non-negative. Set that radicand, so what is underneath the radicand, equal to 0, and solve. Solve the original inequality algebraically, and then we need to test our values to check our solution. So we're going to do one example. That's all we really need. So example 1, our only example. And for this example, sorry, I'm grabbing my notes over here. For this example, we are going to do root 3x minus 6 plus 4 is less than or equal to 7. All right, so first I'm going to isolate that actually, no, I'm sorry. That's the last one. First, we're going to look at our index. Our index is 2, so our index is even. That means we need to identify the values of the variable for which the radicand is non-negative. Our first part, we're going to set this 3x minus 6. We're going to set that greater than or equal to 0. I need to add 6 to both sides. 3x is greater than or equal to 6. And we have x is greater than or equal to 2. All right. Next, we need to actually solve. So I'm breaking that apart right there. Solve our inequality. Well, first thing we need to do is subtract 4 from both sides. So we have root 3x minus 6, radicand is under that whole thing, is less than or equal to 3. Well, we need to square both sides here. We have 3x minus 6 is less than or equal to 9. All right, adding 6 to both sides, we have 3x is less than or equal to 15. And x is less than or equal to 5. All right, I'm going to actually put these onto a number line. So I'm going to draw a number line right here. I'm going to label my number line. Let's go 1 to 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to look at what I have. So x needs to be, I'll put this, let's go right here, x. That needs to be greater than or equal to 2 and less than or equal to 5. Both of these have equal to signs. So they're both going to be solid dots. We're going to put a solid dot at 2 and a solid dot at 5. And we're going to color in everything in between those two dots. All right. Now we need to check our solutions, test our values. Let's test a value right here. All right, 3. Well, is 3 in between 2 and 5? Yes, it is. So this checks out. We can also check it algebraically. So root 3 times, let's go 3 again, 3 minus 6 plus 4 should be less than or equal to 7. All right. Well, 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 minus 6 is root 3. So root 3 plus 4 should be less than or equal to 7. Well, if you do root 3 plus 4 in your calculator, you get about a 5.7. And that is indeed less than or equal to 7. So this checks out. And our actual solution then would be this right here. All right, folks. Well, I finished this just in time. I'm hearing my little baby wake up, and hopefully this is helpful to you, and have a great day.